Happy Tuesday, everybody. It has been some time since we have had a Team Tuesday. I'd like to reestablish that routine. And we've also got some new people who have never had a Team Tuesday meeting. And last week was the beginning of the term. We were kind of busy with some other things, but here we are back to reorient in terms of Team Tuesday. You may also notice in part of my transition into an old person, I got some transition glasses that automatically fade here in the window, so that's neat. It is March 29th of 2022, and the morel mushrooms are just emerging from the ground. I saw a couple little babies this morning. Didn't pick them, but they're here. If that's something you do, the time is upon us. If it's not, look into it. It's pretty cool. It is term 4. This is a very long and busy term. There are 47 days in term 4. We're going to talk about, I know that number specifically for a reason that we're going to talk about in just a minute. But it is very important that we set ourselves up now for success throughout the term. Term 4 is my favorite term in some ways, and in other ways, it's my least favorite term. It's my favorite in that the weather is getting nice again. Graduation season is upon us. There's a lot of really good things that happen in the spring. We reach a lot of goals that we have been aiming for all year. But it also gets crazy busy because there are deadlines, there are ceremonies, there are events, and it just becomes a whirlwind and it goes really fast. So we need to right now be doing the work that is required to succeed. So what do I mean by that? The first respect I want to talk about is attendance. So first of all, I always feel like I'm negative Nancy about this. But there are a lot of good things to recognize. Many of you have made some positive changes. You've employed some strategies, be they what they may, to improve your attendance, and it shows. And I see you, and I appreciate those things. Some of you gave me incredible anxiety for a long time, but have made some changes and given me some at least psychological validation. That things aren't falling off the rails. However, there are others of you who need to make such changes. And so at this point, I would like to pause and do a little math together to kind of place in context where we are in the term with regard to attendance. So here we go. Okay, our first algebraic exercise is going to be to determine how far through the term, percentage-wise, are we right now? Well, today is day 7. We've been here for 5 days, Monday, and now part of Tuesday. If I divide 7 by the total number of days in the term, which I just counted a few minutes ago, 47, we get this decimal. And if we move that decimal place twice, we get a percentage. So 14.893, etc. percent, or about 15% of the term, is over after today. So, we're making progress, but we're still kind of in the infancy of the term. In the simplest form, we've completed 7 days and still have 40 to go. So most of the term is ahead of us. But let's talk about rate for a minute. If you've missed 2 days of the term so far, then you're missing 2 out of every 7 days. Now, to get to 4, all we need to do is really double that fraction. And so to get to 4, we will need 14 days. That means that's the end of the 3rd week of this term is when you'd get to 4, and that's when you would be at risk of being dropped from our roster. For some of you with chronic attendance issues, that will be the end of your time here. You go over 4, we're done. That's not very far away. That's like not this Friday where we don't have school, but next Friday is the 14th day of the term. At the rate you're going with 2 absences right now, you will be over before we're even at midterm. Another way to look at that, let's go back to doing math. If we get a ratio or rate of 2/7, now we've converted that to a decimal, and then we multiply that times the total number of days in the term of 47. at the rate of 2/7, that will, at the end of the term, mean you will have missed 13 and a half days. And that is not a rate at which we can justify you earning credit on our campus. And so you must earn credit to remain with us on our roster. So that's way too much. And I know last term we did have a lot of illness. We had some interruptions with weather. And I think we had a lot of tough meetings and set some expectations with contracts. We're not going to do that every term. That was kind of an anomaly. We are tightening back up this term. So if you're kind of holding out hope that there's going to be some kind of forgiveness, don't. Be responsible now. Okay. That horse is thoroughly beaten. Moving on. All right, the next thing you need to know about that's important. This is one of those many things in term 4 that has to fit in. We do have, like I said, 47 days, but we're going to use 4 of them for planned EOC testing. We're doing this a little different than we have in previous years. So end of course exams are taken at the end of a content course like algebra or English or government. And they're kind of capstone activities that are important for data collecting for the state and demonstrating that students are supposed to be learning what they're supposed to. So they are graduation requirements. So it is very important that if you were scheduled for one of these exams that you be present on these days. We've scheduled them for mostly Tuesdays so that we can remind you on Monday. The first test is English, and it's on Wednesday, the 20th of April, because we don't have school on Monday. So we'll catch you on Tuesday, remind you we got that test, and then take it. We are going to do these once a week for a month. In the past, we've stacked them up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And for some students who needed to take all of them, it turned into a marathon, an exhausting marathon of testing that maybe wasn't ideal for getting representative scores. So I think if we space these out, they'll be less painful, and that's just a more workable schedule. So on Wednesday, the 20th, we will get started with English. The following Tuesday, we'll do algebra. The following Tuesday, biology. And the following Tuesday, government, which will actually take place in your government classes with a few exceptions here and there. And so we have a roster for that. It's really too big to go through right now, but we'll post this so that you know who's testing on what days, but know that that's coming and it's a big deal. And you care a lot about standardized tests. Okay. VLC progress. Last term, we knocked out most of our VLC credit recovery issues. I told you, I think then we were going to really lean hard on VLC stuff when it was dark and cold and there was nothing fun to do anyway. For some of you that need another one of those this term, far fewer than last term, this is just a reminder that that progress needs to be taking place. We will get with you ASAP on tracking and progress, but you are responsible for that class because you are taking it as a credit recovery and you stand to benefit quite a bit from it, but it is your responsibility and you can't rely on the adults around here reminding you every day that you have to do that. Graduation is the carrot. Bathrooms, I know Ms. Keibel addressed everyone in the cafeteria, but this is just a reminder to respect the bathrooms. We are a very different kind of school. We're small and on a scale that is human. We're not a giant institution like a hospital or a prison, and it doesn't feel that way. And I think that's also kind of a good, just sort of constant reminder for us that we need to take care of our space. We don't have a lot of extra staff. And I hope also that you guys have good positive associations or feelings about this place and don't wish to harm it. And also, I think you have good relationships with the people who run it, including Mr. Welsh, our custodian, who, someone's going to have to clean up after you if you don't clean up after yourself. And you're a young adult and you should clean up after yourself. So see to it that you're doing that. Food, phones, etc. This is just kind of a reminder of policies. We don't want to hammer on these all the time, but food and drinks are to be consumed in the cafeteria only. We build in time for you to have breakfast in the cafeteria. I don't really even want you taking cafeteria foods to classes. Classes are a place where we have electronics, where academic things are taking place, and it is just really like that's not the place for that. So if you have energy drinks or whatever, you need to consume them in the morning, whatever drinks and food they may be. Also, phones. By default, there's a no phones out in the classroom rule. So you need to have explicit permission from a teacher, meaning they told you to have those out for an academic purpose if you're going to have them out in class. If you have them out without permission, then you're at risk of having it confiscated and held in the office until the end of the day. And if that becomes a repeated issue, then we'll institute some more regulations. But guys, ultimately the goal is to produce responsible people who can regulate themselves, who don't have to be told to do what to do all the time, and who don't misbehave when the authorities aren't around. That you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And it's not the case that adults don't have phones. It's not the case that adults don't have problems regulating their phone usage. They do. We do. I do. And so, I think that our approach here is not one of abstinence where we say absolutely no phone usage at all at school. I think we try to have a nice middle ground where while we're doing class things, that's what we focus on. And I think teachers will build in breaks occasionally for you or say, hey, we're done with today's thing. You can be on your phones if you want to. But you have opportunities throughout the day at lunch and the breakfast between classes, to check your messages or whatever. But we don't want that to be a distraction at school. And we also don't want to become, like I say, disciplinarians who just forbid them. So be responsible with your usage. Our goal, like we say, is to integrate those into our lives in a way that benefits our lives but doesn't consume them. So your earbuds too, I don't know, it's kind of a thing. It's almost like a fashion accessory and also kind of a safety mechanism for like a Linus blanket or whatever to have your earbuds out or in or hanging, and now they're wireless a lot of the time, and that is super handy. I've got some myself, but not something you can have in class. We want you to be engaged. Remember, that is our primary value around here. And so, we want you engaged with the class. And if you're checking out into screens or an audio verse, then you're not doing that. So keep your phones and your headphones and whatnot out of a classroom stuff and get your food consumed in the appropriate place. Driving and parking. I've talked to some individuals about this, but since we have new people, need to just remind everybody, one, if you're going to drive to school, we need to know that in the office so that we can give you a little tag to park in our parking lot and know who you are. We're going to talk just a little bit about pickup procedure. I think I've got an old video clip that really covers this pretty thoroughly, so I think I'm just going to attach it on here next. But if you're going to get picked up, that needs to happen in front of the building. We got people to kind of observe pickup, so make sure that you get picked up here within kind of the bounds of the building. Don't wander off. Don't go to the parking lot if you're not a driver. Parking lots for drivers only. If you are not picking someone up and you're a driver, do us a favor and kind of avoid this street here on Brook right in front of the building. You've got a number of other directions that you can go. We kind of want to just keep this for pickup. Some of you may have observed an incident last week where an outside neighbor actually sped a little too fast in front of the school. And I did talk to that neighbor about that. And he also talked to me. But if that's one of you, you'll be in trouble. We had a teacher killed in this district a couple of years ago in front of students by a vehicle. And that was, I think, a reminder and a wake-up call for a lot of us that cars are inherently dangerous, and they're really fun, and it's kind of cool to, I don't know, spin tires or go fast until something terrible happens. And then no amount of fun would have ever been worth it. I can tell you from personal experience that one of my best friends was driving in high school in an accident that killed another one of our friends. And to this day, he's not okay about it. It still affects him negatively in a number of ways. And it's not something that you really just want to have weighing on you all the time. And we certainly don't want to lose any of you or our people or our neighbors. So be responsible, be careful, especially right here around school. We also represent our school. And the thing I've talked to a lot of you about, just because this comes up a lot, is that we take pride in our school. And a lot of people unfairly make assumptions about alternative schools. When they hear that you attend an alternative school, they go, oh, that's where those kids go. And that's not fair, because anyone who I know who has actually visited our school leaves saying, wow, that place is great. Why aren't more schools like that? And really, all I can say is we don't really know. They should be, and we just run this one. But we are fiercely protective of our reputation. Because we get unfairly judged, I do not want to ever give anyone ammunition, fodder, fuel, whatever, for an assumption about us. And so sometimes it's not really fair, but I think we even have to be better than normal, just because we're starting kind of at an assumed deficit. And yeah, so I like to shine just to show people that, maybe they should think a little harder sometimes. So represent us well wherever you are, especially if you are, here on campus and venturing out with a class, or you're leaving or arriving. Your behavior is a reflection on us. So be good, represent us well. I think I'm probably at this part going to switch over to the driving video. So, nope. It's time for the phone number update. Some of you have done this three times now, but I want everyone to do this. We are in a Team Tuesday. To organize our Team Tuesday materials, we have a Canvas page, and you should be in that class. That is our whole school. If you're not, talk to your teacher. They'll get you added there real quick. And that will then appear on your dashboard or your list of classes. But there is a link on the Team Tuesday page. I'm just going to pull it up right now. For student phone number form. Click on that. Give me your current phone number. That's yours. There are a couple of you who I am aware have resisted giving contact information that is reliable. I only want this to save your academic life. Yes, I will contact you if you're not here. Yes, I will expect that you tell me what's going on if you're not here. But the whole purpose of that is to be able to document that, know what's going on in your life, and help you attend school regularly. Because if I can't get a hold of you and I don't know what's going on and you're not coming here, then we'll really be left in the dark and we'll just have to drop you. Like I say, this is a safety mechanism for you and your academic life. So give me your phone number. And if you don't have one, give me some other method. Maybe it's through Facebook Messenger. Maybe it's, I don't know, like an email that goes straight to your phone if you have Wi-Fi, or like whatever it is. But I want the best, most reliable contact information for you. All right. Lastly, I think this is last, and then we'll go to the driving video. We are having a guest on campus this afternoon at 1. I believe, new alt school director at Carl Junction is coming to visit. We often say invite other schools, alternative schools, to come and visit campus and say, steal our ideas, go to your town and help people establish a cool and positive school like ours. And so when people take advantage of that, it's pretty exciting. So anyhow, their director is coming this afternoon. We'll probably be walking around. That's who that is. Feel free to say hi, be appropriate, represent us well, etc. And maybe that is the last slide. We're now going to go to the driving directions. But it's possible I've forgotten some things. I know this is kind of a long first meeting, but I don't get to talk to all of you very often. And I'm also a little scatterbrained, so this is a good way to organize thoughts and let me kind of sequentially order things that we need to talk about. Have I mentioned I'm a bit scatterbrained? Now I got a little pop-up that said I'd been timed out, and so it paused my project, which I thought, "Oh my god, did I just lose the last, like, 15 minutes of recording?" No, it's fine. It's still there, and all I really needed to do was send off, so goodbye.